Robert Downey Jr.'s first outing after the death of Iron Man in the MCU.
And I am Iron Man.
Was it worth the sacrifice? No. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is my spoiler talk review for Dolittle. I chose to go straight to spoilers because there's nothing to spoil. The movie was just lame. I mean, I get home, I literally went and saw a matinee of this movie, and I come home, and I got a text message from my sister in Ohio that simply read, "Dolittle sucks." I just went, yeah, it kind of does. It's hard because I definitely have seen movies that are worse than Dolittle, and so I've been struggling with what grade do I give it, and I think I'm going to give it a C-, because, it definitely has some redeeming qualities. There is definitely a little bit of fun to it with the animals and stuff, and it's kind of a cool version setting it back in time, and Robert Downey Jr. is usually always fun, so there's things about this movie that are indeed positive. So I think that's what's gonna help me be a little bit nice and give it a C-. But yeah, I would never have seen this on the big screen. In fact, I think this is really just Netflix worthy. This should have been made straight to Netflix, straight to streaming, instead of being released on the big screen, because it's really not an event. And because it was a matinee, there wasn't a lot of people in there, so it's hard to judge, since there wasn't a lot of people, were the kids really into this? Did they really enjoy this movie? I don't know, but you, the adult, taking your kid, are probably going to be like, what a wasted opportunity, Robert Downey Jr. Why didn't you just do Sherlock Holmes 3? Seriously.
Well, there isn't any time to waste then, is there?
That's kind of what I was wondering about halfway through this. One of the things that kind of drove me nuts was Robert Downey Jr.'s choice of accent. Now, I don't know if he chose to do that accent, or if it was something that the directors and writers, producers, all that chose for him to go for as a character choice, but I didn't like it. Not only did the accent not sound like a real accent, but it kept his voice in this kind of subdued manner. And it just felt like there was very little fluctuation in it. And so I just felt like it kind of took away from what we know Robert Downey Jr. can give. The dude is a fantastic actor. So I just feel like he had more to give to that role, but I just felt like that accent and that tone of voice kind of just pigeonholed him into this little area. Some of the animals were fun, but can you see, I'm sitting here as I'm in front of this review, just trying to think, what are the words to say? Trying to be nice. Some of the voices were great, and I did enjoy some of the voices, but I just think the lines and the dialogue were a bit cheesy. Now, again, maybe a kid might laugh. I mean, it's all butt jokes and fart jokes, so a kid might go, hey, that's kind of funny. But as an adult, you're just kind of going, okay, what time is it right now? Is it time to leave? Can I leave? I mean, so it's yeah, I don't know what else to say. The one redeeming thing that I kept trying to find in this movie is I do like to look deeper into movies. I like to find a theological takeaway, something that I could take away from this movie. And the most I got is it does have this message about Dolittle, and his wife died. And so what you really see is she understood him. He understood her. Here's this guy who understands the animals, and these two humans understood each other, and they loved each other deeply. And then she dies in a shipwreck that she says, don't go, you stay with the animals. I'm going to go find this lost island with the Tree of Eden or something. And so she's going off to find this mystical thing, and then dies in the process. And he's so wounded by it that he just felt like being vulnerable, and opening himself up to somebody like that, all it did was lead to pain. So he shuts off, Dolittle Manor and all that stuff, just keeps the public out and only wants to deal with animals. He's too afraid of letting somebody else in to hurt him. And so he kind of lives in that fear, which is kind of funny because kind of the thing throughout the movie is he's trying to teach the gorilla it's okay to be afraid, but there's courage in you. There's more in you than you even realize. But as he's trying to teach this to the gorilla, it's kind of like he sees the speck in the gorilla's eye, but he's ignoring the plank in his own eye, that he's dealing with this fear, he's dealing with this burden. And so finally you get to the end of this movie, he gets to this Tree of Eden and ends up facing this dragon. And what was the message? Oh my gosh, I was going somewhere with that thought and then I lost it. I think what is making me laugh is because there is a good theological thing there. It's amazing how fear can hold us back from our gifting. That's what it was. I remember what it was. Jesus told this story about somebody given, 10 talents, somebody given 5 talents, somebody given 1 talent. The one with 10 went and invested, made 10 more. The one with 5 invested, made 5 more. The one with 1 hid their talent, didn't invest it, didn't use it, and that was the one that was condemned. So here is Dr. Dolittle with this amazing gift, and he's hiding it because he's afraid. He's afraid of pain and all of that stuff. And so he found that when he shared his gift and he took on this apprentice in the movie, that it actually made his gift stronger. It made his gift better. It gave him so much more joy. Took me a second to get right back to that. And I thought overall that was a good message. And I enjoyed that message. The only thing that was kind of irritating about that message is it just felt like every time he faced an animal, all it needed was a therapy session. Like he faces this tiger and, its name is Barry and it just needs some therapy. But then it decides it's going to eat him anyway. But the point is that you get to the end and you have this dragon that is guarding this Eden tree, and as the dragon is guarding this Eden tree, what does he do? He therapizes the dragon. That's how he shows that he's worthy to pluck a fruit from the Eden tree, is by therapizing the dragon and saying, oh, your mate is dead, because he looks over at the skeleton and goes, I understand that pain of loss and blah, blah, blah. Oh, but look, all that pain of loss has kinked up your bowels. So it becomes this whole thing where he reaches up the dragon's butt to pull things out. So it really does become this gargantuan fart joke in the end. I think it does have a good message, and it does remind me of those words of Jesus, don't bury your talent. You are given a talent, use it. And that's where you'll see it flourish, is when you share what God has put inside of you. It's a great message. Ended with a giant dragon fart joke, and because the dragon's bowels were cleared by the doctor reaching up its butt, they went ahead and said, here, you can take a fruit from the tree of Eden. So, it definitely had good points. It had an interesting message. I do like Robert Downey Jr., but so much of it just didn't really flow for me, and I was looking forward for this movie to end. Maybe it deserves lower than a C- for me. I don't know. What do you think? If you saw it, would you go lower than a C-? Do you agree? This is not big screen worthy. It's not worth the time to check out this weekend in the theaters, but it's probably more of a, streaming thing when it finally hits a streaming service. Let's talk about that in the comments. While you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Hit the bell by the subscribe button so you're notified for my next movie review, ranking video, theological analysis, or anything else I do here. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.